Hello, beautiful students of this school called life. Happy Wednesday. I'm your host, Larissa Akulina, and you are on the Heart of Success show. I go live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. South Australian time zone. And here on this show, I share with you my own personal experiences of transforming life from the life that is dictated by situations, other people, or some circumstances to a life where you are a sole creator of your life. And today I choose the topic of discussion that is about our emotional health. What I found and observe a lot from the clients that I meet or from other people, that our focus in society is really very fragmented and fractured in terms of our wellness and our health. So most of all the societal, educational institutions are really displaying and showing us that the physical health and the appearance is really important. It is important, but that physical appearance and health related or dependent on other multidimensional levels that we are. So by just focusing simply on physical exercises and diet, but ignoring what really is happening within your emotional body is really limited approach. I can share with you my own experience because I used to believe that just by exercising and doing a lot of running and doing all of this physical activity and eat well is actually giving me health. It is actually supporting my body to stay healthy and stay well. But I was learning a very, very hard lesson because I used to run a lot. I used to do a lot of physical exercises. I used to do a lot of yoga. I used to run 10 kilometers, and I done strenuous exercises and all sort of physical activities that been of course really pleasurable and really good, but at the same time I was overdoing it. So I was just believing that the more physical activity, the more physical exercise, yoga I do, the better my health's gonna to be, the better I'm eating healthy and limiting myself in different foods that I believed were not good for me, although I was craving them, but I was limiting and restricting myself of having these foods. So I was really, really strict on supporting my physical body the way we are actually presenting and displaying everywhere. We need to focus on, the athleticism of our body, or that's going to bring us health. But from my personal experience, I have actually found that I was so super athletic. I was having a great physical body. I was strong physically. I was pushing myself to the limits of achieving a physical strength. But emotionally, I was complete mess. I was absolutely mess. I was confused. I was anxious. I was depressed. I was really lost within my internal emotional state and just pushing myself, going through all of these really strict um, uh, exercises and all of these physical limitations and also the diets and healthy eating. I was truly believing that I do good for myself, but really in reality, the physical body sits on the matrix of our multidimensional nature, and the body is actually picking up all of these distortions and pains of that emotional body of mental body, of the spiritual body. So the fragmentation of our approach to really keep ourselves healthy and well is really doing a lot of damage rather than good, even though it seems like we're doing really good things for ourselves. But in reality, because of our perception that our health is only, needs to be looked after as a physical body and mental body, or spiritual body. So what I am observing is that we either focus on the physical, or we focus on mental intellectual development, or we fallen into the trap of that spiritual development, and we really kind of fragmenting the self-care into these different areas, and we, the combination is not really proportional. And that's what I found with myself when I actually was so super healthy and strong physically. Emotionally, I was complete mess. And of course, when we are not paying attention the same way or enough to deal with all the multidimensional nature of who we are, we actually are damaging ourselves. So like I was surprised when I actually was diagnosed with breast cancer after having all of this self-care routine of running 10 kilometers, doing yoga, having strenuous exercise, eating healthy. I still got, terminal disease. So how that is actually connecting? So it's not connecting. It's all separate, because the fragmentation of our approach to our health is really what I want to talk to you about today, because we kind of ignoring one part of ourselves, or two, three parts of ourselves, and focusing on one instead of, contributing our self-care towards this multidimensional nature of who we are. And I also observing a lot of people are striving for this spiritual growth and development, ignoring their own emotional states. So they almost like a skipping the level where they need to look after first before and the spiritual development is gonna to go alongside with the resolutions of your emotional state. So when we have these emotional blockages and pains and conflicts, and we kind of suppressing it because we don't know how to deal with this, and these blocks are actually present in our energy consciousness system, and it is a simple deprivation of the creative process that was actually stopped or deprived from being fulfilled. So all these blockages in our energy consciousness system is the energy of unfinished creative process that needs to be freed up, and then that needs to be released from your energy field, so that it can be then healed and integrated into the wholeness of who you are. And then you can start to have this integration, and a spiritual development will be happening together with the resolution of your emotional conflicts and your emotional unwellness. So I did it hard way because I didn't understand and I didn't know who can help me. I just was dealing it with myself, and I was really just forced on my knees, and I was surrendered to the process and asked for help, and the help was given to me in the form that I shifted my understanding about self-care, about uh, focusing only on one aspect of who I was started to opening up and widen up my perception of how I can actually take care of all my dimensional levels and nature, not only the physical and mental. So so when we start to really evenly contributing our attention and care to all the multidimensional levels of who we are, well then this is more rounded and integrated support for our health and wellness start to become working much nicer, and without these extreme states where we feel that we need to polish ourselves externally and polish our bodies, but we forget and ignore and neglect our emotional states. And this is really is a core of the health. If we start to accept that emotional state and our emotions are the fundamental background that can create the physical disease. In my case, I was super healthy. I was so athletic. I was running, yoga, diet, healthy eating, everything was around that physical level, but yet I got breast cancer. How that is possible? I was just sitting back in shock, asking myself a question: how could this happen? I am putting all my effort to be healthy, to be well. I'm physically active. I'm eating healthy food. I'm drinking water, and all of these self-care tips that we hear everywhere. But I was neglecting my emotional state. It was complete mess. I didn't know how to resolve these issues that I was holding within myself by covering up and masking that state through polishing up the physical appearance and the the physical state, I would say, right? But that is a very mistaken approach. So I would like to summarize what I'm saying to you today here is that I really invite you to look at yourself and your wellness as a very intelligent, multidimensional energy consciousness system that consists of many different bodies. And a physical body is actually a last expression of all the bodies that are around, or all the bodies that your physical body sits on. That includes your emotional state, that includes your mental state, that includes your spiritual state, and beyond. So um, so all of this needs to be looked after. And if we don't know, at least we need to start to move to look after our emotional state with much more serious approach. So it needs to be a foundation to help your body to heal, and this automatically and in parallel gonna to propel you into this spiritual growth as well. So the three summary points is: recognize that emotional state is really, really important for your health. Don't push all these emotional issues aside somewhere, suppressing, and don't pretend that you don't have them. Just really carefully, review and evaluate your state and any conflicts and any conflicting, distorted, painful feelings that you have. It's an indication you don't have your emotional state totally resolved. There's some issues and traumas and wounds unresolved. So, and how it's happening every day, we can have some conflicting situation with our bosses or with our loved ones and things, and it is collecting and accumulating around that main primal wound that we all carry with ourselves. And if we're not dealing it, that time capsule is growing up and harden, so that then physical body creates a diseases. In my case, that was extreme. It was terminal disease that I created. In other cases, people create a slightly different diseases, but this is all science. This is all your guidance that your emotional state. So I started to work and start to resolve all of this stagnated energy that possibly could be in my field back from past lives or from my childhood. So I'm inviting you to recognize the importance of it. Then I invite you to use the integrated approach and without ignoring your multidimensional nature. And a third one is strive for your personal resolution. Uh, the medical system, unfortunately, or educational system, or our societal systems is not teaching us about that. It only focusing on the very limited expression of who we are, ignoring all the other levels. And that's why we struggling, we feeling sick, we feeling unfulfilled, we feeling unsatisfied. Strive for the personal resolution, because all the answers is within you. And of course, it's so hard to do it by yourself, but there's so many people that can help you. Reach out for help, for healers, for practitioners, for mentors, coaches, you name it. There's a lot of people who are actually went themselves from this from paradigm of separation and fragmentation of all of these dimensions into uniting and making it whole system. So they went through it, I went through it. So that's why I believe you need to listen people like me, that because we went through it, we experienced that separation first, we experienced it all hard way, and we found the way to actually to find the unity, to gather all of these levels together to create that energy consciousness system, and then the body fixed itself. So in my situation, it did, and if it did in my situation, it can be well in your situation as well. You just need to be open to look at how that worked for other people. So I really would like to say thank you, and I'll see you next week. I have a news for you as well. Next week, I'm gonna to do a solo, and then the week after, I'm having a very special guest on my show, Ina Segal. So she is a well-known international healer and an author of best-selling books. So yeah, I just wanted to show you the book. But so in 2 weeks, she's gonna be on my show, and we're gonna to talk about self-healing and the power of our the power of ourselves to actually heal anything and create anything you want in your life. So just don't miss that episode. And after that, I'm going to have another guest about interpreting your dreams. This is very interesting. I found it for myself a very interesting area, dreaming and dreams, and what it means, and how we can use this really almost unconscious information in our lives. So that would be also very interesting. And after that, I'm gonna to actually I'm gonna to continue the Heart of Success show, but it's gonna be a season 2. It's gonna be a little bit different. The season 2 will be focusing on small practical shift that I did in my life, personally within and also externally, how I aligned and harmonized the energy around me. All of these little tips will be shared with you on my season 2 of the Heart of Success show. I really invite you to get onto it because it's going to be very short and it's going to be very practical. So you can use it yourself in your life and increase your happiness, improve your immune system, and create the environment in your life that can actually support your health and well being. So stay tuned. Season 2 of the Heart of Success show is coming in 2 weeks' time after I have these really great special guests. And I'll see you next week. Thank you so much. And I would like to put a little bit of music.